I'm just really excited for this one. This is Oracle, which we have yet to see play throughout the entire day. They were kind of gifted a win because Shattered Dreams was unable to show up, and Oracle has been insanely dominant in many different tournaments before. So it'll be interesting to see their first game. And as we saw, Shift W Gamers, I mean, Trickster Shadow doing an incredible job on the killer there. Every single match I think he's come into, he's just instantly on someone within 20 seconds, not even, right, immediately engaging in chases. And I really feel that is what kind of helped them in. But not only that, the survivors have been playing very efficient as well. They've been doing gens at a very aggressive rate, so the game has been very quick paced for the most part. I would assume that their games have been some of the faster ones throughout the entirety of this, obviously besides that draw. So that'll be an interesting matchup to see what they go with. And obviously they're already locked out of the, well, they actually only locked out of the, which one did they pick before? Because they picked the Spirit, that second one.
Oh,
so they're locked out.
Oh, you're talking about Trickster Shadow? It's Nurse.
Nurse. Okay, yeah, that's right. Nurse. And that one didn't get locked. Okay, yeah, that's right. So they still have quite a bit of stuff in their arsenal that they can pick. I'm guessing we're going to see more Spirits, but I guess we'll see. I'm hoping for some more oddball stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Trickster Shadow has so many killers up his sleeve. He can really bring anything to the table. But Nurse and Spirit typically tend to be the favorites when it comes to picks here. So you would expect those to be highly prioritized. It's interesting that Aaron has selected the Nurse onto Shelter Woods here. Potentially because it's a large map, you want more mobility to get around the map. Also, potentially because of the add-on restriction nerf that we brought to Spirit, and not feeling as comfortable having to play on the brown add-ons and not wanting to risk anything versus the Shift W gamers here. But we will see exactly how this one does come about. I think Shift W gamers, until the game we just played, actually held the fastest gen record in our tournament so far, which is 1 minute 3 seconds for first generator. Insanely quick. It was Agony who just broke that at 1 minute per first gen. So that's the current tournament record to beat, is 1 minute to do your first generator.
Yeah, super fast. Like I said, I knew those games are going pretty quick. So I'm interested to see how the Nurse can deal with it. The nice thing is, with the Nurse pick on Shelter Woods, there's a lot of vision, right? Like there isn't too much spots in that map where there's like heavy vision loss. So that might be why he decided to go with the Nurse pick, just having, a pretty wide open map and just being able to kind of blink across and find people. So that is what I expect to happen. But if Shift W gamers can kind of push the gens fast before Aaron can get his footing on the killer, I mean, they've been pumping the gens real fast. Ain't no brakes on the Shift W gamer's car, as you could say. So really, it's just going to come down to that early game, and we'll see what happens. And as far as the perk picks go.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that is worth noting, that there's been an actual difference, I would say, in style coming out of Shift W gamers in comparison to week 1 to week 2. Week 1, they played a very safe early game. They actually stealthed the entire 2 minutes on the Corrupt Intervention, but both times versus Otstava, they were pushing gens during the Corrupt Intervention. They are now looking to speed up their playstyle here on the Survivor side. And really, I think that it's just a case of as soon as the killer passes them, they hop on the closest generator. Scratch marks have been located, though, and that's going to be a Survivor in a little bit of trouble. Who was that toolbox holder? That's usually Brian, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're right. That is
Brian S. Yeah. Oh, no, that's Super Alf. Both look very similar from behind. Yeah, Super Alf going to be the toolbox holder today, and looking to try and get some gen pressure down. That's actually really bad for the team. You're allowed to bring one unique item across your Survivor team, all yellow variety. You kind of want your toolbox to be on a generator at the start of the game. You don't want that to be lost. And can Aaron transport him to the basement here? The Shelter Woods always spawns the basement in the shack. It's going to be a long journey, but I think he's got just enough wiggle bar in him to make it. Yeah, he does. Wow, that is really awful start for the Shift W gamers.
Yeah, and that's their borrowed time as well on Super Alf. So I'm assuming they're still going to have one in their arsenal. Yeah, they do. And so that'll probably be the playmaker that goes for the save, but not what you want to see as a basement. And Brian going down real fast there. unfortunately. Aaron is like, you know what? You had me cooped up all day. I didn't get to play my first match. I'm coming swinging, all right? And he's gotten 2 downs now, I think, before he's even lost his Corrupt Intervention. Corrupt Intervention should be going off momentarily.
This is insane pace coming through from Aaron. Yeah, look at that. Another 20 seconds left on it still. That is insane pace coming through. First generator does get done around the 1 minute 50-second mark here. But already Aaron secured 2 hooks, 2 points on the board. Matching pace with the survivors, absolutely. It is going to be Ryan rescued from their hook. It's so much harder to do that when there's a basement involved. And Super Alf is very, very shortly going to be entering on into his second stage. The rescue attempt does come through. Let's see if it is a borrowed time attempt. Is Malika coming down? Malika takes the hit for Super Alf. Alf now has to get the distance. Going to use life off the window for that distance and just try to swing and curve himself around, but not enough to get away from Aaron. Pinpoint precision on this nurse. Is there a decisive strike? There is. Skill check? No, it's not this. It was a generator skill check as we switched on over. And that's Alf going straight back on into the basement.
It's just, that is almost like, that's about as good as it gets. Going into the basement right at the start of the match. Obviously, Nurse, one of the better killers as far as getting right back into the basement or getting back in that general vicinity. So every single time the survivors want to go for a save, they have to invest multiple seconds going down to get that. And it's just really putting them on the back foot here. It was a really good read on Aaron's part to kind of scout the sides of the match while they were stealthing, knowing that most of these competitive teams tend to stealth out the Corrupt Intervention at the start, especially versus like a Nurse or a Spirit. They usually just kind of want to waste that perk, so essentially limiting the killer to just 3 perks. But they are doing gens. They are pushing that along. Looks like Aaron is going to be contesting the hook. Does not want to let this go for free, and that's probably the smart decision. If he loses a generator here, not necessarily the worst thing to happen to him if he can confirm a kill, because now going into a 3v1 with, what, 2-3 generators left, it's not going to look too good. Not quite sure what that was. Super Aaron Nova.
He attempted to get the rescue onto Alf in the basement and decided to double whack on himself, and that's going to be Alf going down and Aaron now down on the floor. 2 generators get completed, but it's not enough distance from the basement that Aaron can't transport him there and just do the exact same thing to the super crew on the Shift W gamers.
He does have Deliverance. I think what I would have liked to see there is him just go for the trade, right? Take the hit, get the save, hopefully borrow timeout. If he goes on the hook, he has Deliverance off. And I don't know if he just didn't feel comfortable getting that hit there and then getting the save. It might have been tight on the timing. There comes the Deliverance off the hooks. So he will have that where he won't be able to mend for over an entire minute there because he wiggled himself off the hook. Brian going to be going for the second hook now. And I mean, this is a really good situation for Oracle and Aaron coming in. Brian now on the death hook if he does get saved. Super Alf already knocked out. They did a good job with the gens, though.
Yeah, they have. Malika's on a generator now after healing, which looked to be a roughly 50%. Is this it here? It potentially is, actually. The generator that Malika was working on, and so that's going to be some regression coming through as Aaron will kick it with the Pop Goes the Weasel, reducing its total progression by 25%. And that puts Super Aaron Nova in a difficult position as he's the one sprinting around here, I believe. He is, yeah. And he's got no decisive strike to help him here. He's just not able to break line of sight and out maneuver Aaron's killer. It's just pinpoint blinks.
Yeah, and I mean, this is why I think he went with the Nurse pick on this map, right? Because look at this. Look at in front of you, right? You just see, or you can see across the entire map, right? And you can catch the shadows of the survivors in the distance. And once you see that shadow, it's pretty much game time for the Nurse as far as like just going after you. And because realistically, if you're in her sights, you're as good as dead. You need to be breaking vision. You need to make her waste a blink to know where you're at or guess where you're at. And then hopefully she messes up her second blink. That's kind of how you have to deal with her. On this map, though, pretty difficult to be able to do that when majority of it is all just permavision other than the trees. So Malika going on the first hook here for Shift W gamers. Brian and Super Aaron Nova both on their desk hook, and Aaron has to be feeling pretty nice right now. 2 generators remaining. He will get another pop goes the Weasel there, but I don't believe any generators are that far along at this point where it super matters. Does see the scratch marks and a nice down. He's had excellent blinks so far. Almost every single one has felt really intentional, and he knew exactly where he wanted to go.
He was attempting to contest Brian, but didn't go for the second blink. Wants to hold it for the recharge. Scratch mark spotted going to the side here is going to be Malika in the chase now, trying to get some distance on to Oracle's killer. Some good turns on the first blink, but the second is able to find the target, and Malika will go down onto the floor. A slug going to come through as Brian's now trying to pick up Super Aaron Nova, and you have to imagine at this stage in the game, Aaron for the Oracle knows that if Super Aaron Nova had an Unbreakable, he would have utilized it already. It would be gone. And Brian, he's actually just going for points here. He's anticipating, the team is anticipating that this is going to be not a 4-man out. This is not going to be a 3-man out. They just want generator points as much as possible. And if he can get one more generator done, that's 2 extra points to their team. Oh, he's going for Brian. Brian's now rotating.
That's going to be a death on Super Aaron Nova, and he's earning maximum points for him there, which will be 4 points in total. 3 points earned for Super Alf, can earn another 4 points for Brian if he does end up catching him. This is not looking too good, but it's not necessarily down and out. I mean, we've seen Trickster just have a dominant killer game, so but Aaron just really well-timed blinks. Coming from being a Hillbilly main, you'd almost think he was a Nurse main all along.
Yeah, I think at this point, Aaron can easily say that he's a Nurse main, Hillbilly main, Spirit main. He just Survivor main. You know, he's doing it all. In Dead by Daylight at the moment
too, because he's kind of known in the community as a Survivor main. That's kind of what he's like coined for himself, right? Like with these, you know, like the dumb tech and all that, like silly different techniques that he kind of does regularly, and he's showcasing that just because I play a lot of Survivor, I also am insane at killer.
Just an insane gamer all around. Aaron currently holds the record for the most hooks from any killer in our tournament at 11. Nice attempt there from Brian to set up for the stun. Goes for the life play off of it as well to gain some distance on the pallet. That's exactly how you need to play those scenarios. And then he just takes straight line distance through the trees to try and get some more. He has to go for a charge on his firecracker. That's really the only thing that's going to keep him at bay right now, is a firecracker that lands directly on the first blink. But this is the longest chase we've actually had all game so far, and Brian's the one bringing it. Maybe it's enough to give Malika an extra generator, extra 2 points on the scoreboard. It's what his team is looking for.
Yeah, good juke on Brian's part, honestly. Seriously, that was like really good. And as you see, that's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be breaking the vision of the Nurse. And if you notice, Aaron would blink, and actually sometimes he wasn't even using his second blink because he was just trying to get information as to where he is. And then he knew, oh, I don't have the distance for that, so I'll just get the faster recharge. So I have 2 blinks at a later time. And so he's doing a good job reading that as well. But that was, I believe, the longest juke, like you said. He does have the Unbreakable, which will be the pickup. And I do believe he's going to finish the generator. Yes, pretty good play.
Oh, and the sprint burst gets the distance away with Brian Chill, gets an additional 6% action speed on the generator. Brian has already utilized his Unbreakable in this game, so cannot pick himself up again. But Malika is doing a really good job of breaking line of sight. She's actually going to get the pickup whilst he's fatigued. And this could actually potentially be Brian getting some distance off of this one here. It's going to be Malika taking the hit. Brian's now alive and on his feet. Can Malika keep Aaron at bay? Very close to the blink. It's going to be very difficult to make that happen a second time. Brian now has to essentially hide out for an entirety of about 2 minutes at this stage. 2.5 minutes on the dying state timer here. We saw this happen last time we came to Shadow Woods, Hexy. It was Shattered Dreams versus Sweater Force, and Green King had his opponents in this exact position. A survivor slugged on the floor, and another one making their way around the map slowly trying to find the hatch. In the end, it actually resulted in the survivor bleeding out on the floor, denying any points of hooking and killing, and the survivor getting the hatch. Shift W Gamers, if they're able to make the same thing happen, that would tie up the scoring 10-10. It would be the best case scenario for them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm worried about, is that he obviously wants the 4K, right? He's looking to get the 4 kills, get him as much points as possible, set his team up for the next match. But at this point, he is running the risk of possibly losing the 2 points there, and then another 2 points if they get the hatch by just letting them bleed on the ground. Ooh.
I think. I mean, yeah, he has.
Definitely
100%. This is Brian.
Yeah.
Putting down the firecracker, going for the blind. Aaron, I think, may have actually got stunned there. May have got light burned, it seemed, off of that. But it's nothing that Brian can do to get away from that. That is going to be the slug successful. Malika got spotted as he spotted Brian as well. So we'll be able to pick her up, pop her on a hook, and that is going to increase the scoring from Malika up to 12 points for Oracle. And then if Brian S also gets hooked here as well, that will go up to 14-8, which is a very dominant round. I mean, Brian hasn't been spotted yet. We don't know it. Yeah, maximum points. 16 points available for the killer. Where's the hatch? Has it been located?
I'm not sure. We didn't actually gain any vision on the hatch, and he does actually hear it. It's going to kick it. Yeah, kicks it closed, but no adrenaline. So pretty much he's done for at this point. It's just a matter of, can he hide, deny him 2 points, or will he be spotted and reward him 2 points? So if I was Brian, I would be trying to hide right now, because you can deny 2 points right here for not being hooked and also not dying. When you do bleed out on the ground like this, you reward 0 points. And the reason why we went ahead with this rule set is because slugging is incredibly strong, and we didn't want every single killer to just slug to gain easy points. We wanted to kind of make it a decision to keep the game moving. Slugging is still a strat, but you got to be aware of the consequences if you lose track of these survivors that are on the ground.
He's actually come over towards the Hex Totem here, which is semi-smart, because the lit Hex Totem makes noise. So it's just potentials that Detective Tap, who actually has relatively quiet moaning, if the timing is right, the Hex Totem could potentially mask it. And also, you never know. There are certain bugs that prevent the survivor from making any noise on the floor. I mean, we can hear him on a spectator client, but you never know of Dead by Daylight what Aaron's hearing in this scenario. Aaron definitely has the headset to be able to hear a survivor. So
he was very close there. I feel like he would have been in range to hear that, but you might be right with the totem making the fire noise, or possibly just having some sort of bug there where the survivor's making no noise at all. It happens pretty regularly too. So even though we're hearing it, he might not be, and it's looking like it's going to be a bleed out on the ground. Unless he can find him like right this second. He is playing it smart. Like, you'd assume that survivor would crawl to the corner there.
And there it is. The bleed out has happened. Brian S has denied 2 points on the scoreboard for Oracle. This is I mean, that's after the hatch was no longer a possibility. That is literally the best case scenario, is that the bleed out comes through and points are denied on the scoreboard. Oracle will finish game 1 with 12 points coming through for 9 hooks total and 3 kills. The bleed out rewards nothing to Aaron. With Shift W Gamers getting 8 points total for their generators. This game, only 4 points separates the two teams.
It is very much winnable still for Shift W Gamers, but the scary thing about it is with the 9 hooks, that is definitely an uphill battle. And essentially, if Oracle can just kind of get all 5 generators, and unless Trickster really pulls his A game here, he's going to be needed to look at almost a perfect game from a killer standpoint, and just denying them 4 if not 5 generators. Otherwise, it'll probably not be looking too pretty for Shift W Gamers. Yeah, I mean, there's many different perks at his disposal that all really work with Freddy very well. Like I said, the Sloppy Butcher, Thanatophobia stacking with these other effects. Pop Goes the Weasel, absolutely disgusting bursting on Freddy. I would assume that'll probably be picked. Does he stack it with the Ruin and Tinker, as you were saying? So he's just getting information as to where they're at, blinking over to it, pushing them off the generators, letting it regress. There's multiple different ways this can be played, but I am kind of in your court as far as he needs to run some sort of way to keep them off generators while still getting downs and hooks. And it looks like we're going into the second match of this. Oracle for Shift W Gamers. Oracle with a very dominant performance on the first game here. Shift W Gamers looking to run it back. XxShinobazuxX on the Freddy pick.
And it's going to be the swing chains with the jump rope.
Yep.
Yeah. The only difference in the build we talked about earlier is a surveillance choice over the Tinkerer, which will mean that he will see when a generator gets tapped. Surveillance actually received a bug fix on this update, Hexy. The bug being that the generator no longer remains white once it has fully regressed to 0%. I suspect that Oracle, probably a team that isn't going to let generators regress all the way, so it may not affect them here. Early chase, though, coming through onto Oracle, and it is going to be, I want to say this is Xeno. No, this is Nigel. This is Aaron now taking the chase. They usually keep relatively the same characters. Aaron on the Claudette here, and he's going to be the first to be chased.
Just trying to close distance there. Looked like a little bit of a bad map layout. It didn't have too many pallets on that particular side there. It does have an LT, but it can be somewhat difficult with the pools going into play. Is going to make quick work of them. So that's about as good as it can get. No generators completed at this point, but I was going to say, I would assume that we're probably going to be expecting 2, if not 3 generators probably getting close to being done. And it does look like we are going to have 2 generators more likely flying here. He's probably going to try to get over here, push them off this generator so he can gain maximum value from his Ruin. And here comes the sprint burst.
He's definitely got him off. Now, the problem, I think, with Ruin is in these scenarios here where you have just pushed a survivor off a generator that's almost completed, that generator is only going to regress at half a charge per second, 200%, rather than you getting that instantaneous 95%, so at 25%. And there's that generator being completed. Immediately as Xeno is pushed off of it, someone else just goes straight to it and makes sure it gets done that quickly. So it's very difficult. The Hex Ruin, and it's a savior and a curse in these scenarios because the teams almost sometimes play around the Ruin because they know that you don't have that impact regression that Pop provides.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if this team will just expect, because it's a Freddy being played, he's gonna run Pop Goes the Weasel. Usually as a Freddy player, you run Pop because you just get insane value off of it. He doesn't have any way of really like super knowing if they're on the gens other than surveillance, which would mean they have to let go of it. So he's not going to have like the barbecue and chili to see someone far off and then immediately teleport over and get the pop. So I'm curious to see if they just leave the Ruin in play and just power through it, and he can gain 0 value off of Pop Goes the Weasel, essentially eliminating him down to just 2 perks in total. Almost 0 perks if they don't let go of the generators with the surveillance pick. There goes the Ruin. So they are going to allow access to the Pop Goes the Weasel. Another generator about halfway done. He's placing down traps, trying to shut down this jungle gen. Nice little fast vault there. I believe that's life.
Yeah, it was life, but it's not going to be enough to get him to the window. So just going to play around the locker, increasing the chase time just momentarily with a single whiff. And Zonga will go down on the floor. But there you go, another generator's done. Oracle so fast on these generators.
It's not looking too good. 1 hook, 3 generators done. He does have the slowdown build, but like I said, in a comp scene like this, I'm kind of curious to see how it would play out. I feel like, yeah, it slows it down a good bit, but is it enough with how fast the games are going to be playing, them all in voice comms and kind of pushing them out a match along? I think that he is getting a lot of value off of it, but he needs to be worried about getting these hooks as well, because we saw Aaron have an incredibly dominant performance with all these hooks, but it does look like we get the save, and he's going to light the way there. He won't have a borrowed time or anything. I didn't quite see if Xeno had the borrow time, that because he's in the dream world, you actually can't proc borrow time, so he doesn't have that available. Trying to get away as best he can. There is going to be a slug on Xeno, and this is some decent pressure, but because he didn't kick these pallets, he is going to have to deal with them now.
There's the pickup onto Xeno now. Hook goes through, and another generator has popped. In fact, although unofficial, I believe Aaron holds the fastest survivor escape in a Swift. It's something that they achieved on Torment Creek with Zongao, Nigel, and then Jay from Instant Dodge coming through. These guys, they understand the concept of Gen Rush and really showcasing exactly how they do it here on the Shelter Woods. Aaron in a chase, all of the survivors injured, the last generator being completed as we speak, and Aaron's just looking to try and get as much distance and time, or his team will eventually go down here on the T-Wall. We'll have to see if XxShino can actually apply a Pop Goes a Weasel to any of the generators, because the three of them on the final generator here, very happy to just play this one out, and that's going to be the Gem Pop. Does Aaron have Adrenaline? Wait, they brought him over. They pop it. 2 adrenalines on the 2 survivors. Oh, cancelled. Okay, he cancelled. I was concerned that he may have committed to that generator, but now he has to actually find Aaron to find the hook. There's no way to insta down the survivors in this end game. No perks that will allow for it.
I mean, he kind of knew this going in. He knew that he wanted to not run the no-ed. It's definitely not looking good. It looks like they're going to get the pickup on Aaron. Possibly a blind. Doesn't get it. Dongao just looking to push the distance. Actually hitting the shift W there himself. Possibly the door here. Coming for the body block. It is going to be a body block, but he does snake by him. He should get the down. Yep.
So what they're going to do here is heal tap. Watch this. See the heal there? And then they could do it one more time and then press 1. Did they both get out?
Oh my god. Nope. Almost.
It's a nice little attempt there. One of the survivors needs to escape anyway in this endgame. You're not going to have all 4 survivors usually in this endgame scenario, especially after taking the injured state. But you can essentially try and get a survivor through to the exit gate just by tapping the heals at the right time and the survivor crawling in between. Likely what Oracle do here is just take the 3 men out. It's enough points, well and truly, to secure themselves a place in the winners bracket final and also secure them a position in the money. $1,000 minimum of prize money that they will earn by winning this match versus W Gamers. They are waking up here so that they can get the borrowed time. He might actually just go for it. You know, there's nothing to lose. They want to showcase how to get a man alive. Yeah, they are. These guys are all about it.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to chill there and just say, give me the kill, you guys leave. But there's really no negative.
Oh, they positioned it perfectly. Look at that. Wow. It's so clean. They're so clean. And that's borrowed time applied to Kate as well. Can they get out alive? Yeah, they can. Holy moly. Shift W Gamers. They are not going to find any kills here on the Shelter Woods. Oracle have done it to them. A 4-minute escape on Shelter Woods. Almost a perfect score across the board again from this team. Oracle, your winners bracket finalists coming through. Well, they'll enter into the winners bracket finals with agony. And they've secured themselves at minimum 3rd place here in the tournament. And they're in the money as well.
Man, incredible performance. Got all 4 of them out. Just doing the extra little swag to show they can get all of them out there. That body block was pretty much perfect. They didn't even hesitate it either. That was like really impressive. Came in, body blocked it, and just boom, done. Unfortunately, so even though it didn't much
way
matter,
that he just walked in between. Like so cheeky the way
perfect.
That like he just moved in. It was so clean. They knew exactly how to react to the scenario and get Aaron the safety there. It was actually unbelievable.
Yeah, so they're going to be fighting Agony in the winners final. That'll be tomorrow, our first match of the night. Winners final will be going down. The winners final is going to be slightly different. It's going to be a best of 3. So we will actually get to watch these teams go at it multiple different times. But let's take a look at our standings.
There it is, coming up on your screens. Oracle versus Agony, the first of our finals tomorrow. The winners final, a best of 3 series to determine who will be making it directly into the grand finals. And due to the way that elimination tournaments work, the team that goes through the grand finals first, they have an advantage that if they happen to lose their grand finals series to the losers bracket team, then we do it all again. You have to be beaten twice in a double elimination bracket. And so the winners finalist team has that advantage heading on into it. So that's tomorrow, first thing tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, the 12th of September, Oracle versus Agony. But over on the losers bracket, 4 teams are now fighting for their tournament life and fighting to join Agony and Oracle in the money for our prize pool here. Up next is Gentlemen versus Invincible Kittens, and then after that, Team Canapec will take on the Shift W Gamers. All of these teams in the losers bracket fighting for their tournament survival, fighting to make it into that grand final, Hexy.